All right, all you good people out there. I am the Dan O'Damas, and I'm here to talk to you about the future. That's correct. As I look into my basketball of fate here. Remember, just last week, the Dan O'Damas predicted the Green Bay Packers would go into Dallas and defeat the Cowboys. I foretold the telling of how Matthew Stafford would lie on his back and walk out of Ford Field the same way he's walked out of so many other games at Ford Field on the wrong side of the scoreboard. And yes, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would beat the Philadelphia Eagles to set up an epic rematch at Ford Field. The Dan O'Damas is all wise and all knowing, and here to tell you that next Sunday, once again, the Detroit Lions will find victory and that the Green Bay Packers will set up an all NFC North NFC championship game by pulling off an upset over the San Francisco 49ers. Mwah! Well, greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank the Dan O'Damas for stopping by to give us that recap of foretelling the future of the NFC playoffs and the Detroit Lions. A couple things before we get into today's show. As we all know, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming to Ford Field, and you know what? I think this is going to be a pretty good telling matchup about where the Lions are and a real possibility for us to be in the NFC Championship. But before we talk about today's show, if you enjoyed Dan O'Damas and all of this and the normal content of the show, please consider subscribing. We're about 50 subs away from hitting 5,700. It's really trying to make a push to get to 5,700, maybe 5,800 before kickoff Sunday. Also, don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up button. One last thing, and other than foretelling the future, I am also a realtor, a coach, and YouTuber. And in this year, or if you foresee yourself in the future looking to buy or sell property in the state of Michigan, give me a call, 269-998-2384. And I would predict that you'll enjoy a good amount of savings as I try to work on your behest and use over 30 years of service in the industry to your discretion. All right. Now, with that all being said, hopefully you enjoyed the little skit and the bit of the Dan O'Damas. Let's go ahead and get over to the purpose of today's show, which obviously is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are coming over to Ford Field. And you know what? What do you guys think of this matchup? I thought when we played them earlier in the year, let me get this out of the way. It wasn't too bad. I mean, it was not a bad matchup for us. Both teams have improved. I think we can all agree since that early season matchup. The Lions are going to be much healthier this game than they were down in Tampa Bay. Most of us probably remember Gibbs and Money. Montgomery were out that game, or at least the majority of that game, I should say. Lions were a little bit different in the receiver department. That was really probably the first real game that we saw some promise out of Jameson Williams. I think we all can concur that he's developed a lot since then. The defense, this is where I think the big change is for Detroit. We've changed our schemes and schematics a ton since then. We've become far more aggressive, assertive, and we're going to be able to get after Baker Mayfield. Now, with that being said, Mike Evans, to me, is the real question mark here because he might not have quite the wheels some of the other receivers we've seen in the last month or so, but he's got a lot more size than a lot of those guys. He's going to be able to do some things that are going to be interesting to see how Aaron Glenn and company account for him. All right, enough of that. Let's see what you guys got to say as we hop on over to the comment section. JDC, good morning, all. Good morning to you, too. Drake, greetings and salutations, everyone. I thought the matchup with I like the matchup with Tampa Bay. Thoughts? Sort of like I was just talking about, Drake. I think there's a lot of positives to it. The fact that we're all not oblivious to it. They played last night. We played Sunday. Get that extra day of rest. They're going to have to travel up here, so that further impacts their ability to prepare. My guess is they'll probably get on planes and land to get wheels down in Detroit probably Friday, maybe afternoon or so. But there are some accumulative advantages. How much those advantages end up playing into things at the end of the day, we'll see. Robert, good morning, Dan and Cruz. Same to you, Robert. Hopefully having a good one. Eduardo, hey, early thoughts on Tampa. Even though we beat them without Gibbs and David Montgomery, I still think that posed a lot of problems for us, and the defense didn't open until they targeted J-Mo deep. Yeah, and the target, to your point, with Jameson Williams really did put some stress and pressure on the Tampa Bay defense. But with that being said, you're going to have everybody back, it would appear, on offense. So the running back committee will be vastly different. That's going to force Tampa Bay to alter some things too, because remember in that game, Craig Reynolds was basically your running back throughout most of the game, and even he got a little dinged up. He did make one a heck of a block. I know we all remember that. The receiving group with Laporta, another week of healing. I'm going to guess he's going to be as right as he's probably going to be the rest of the playoffs. Same with J-Mo, St. Brown, etc. We're set up pretty good here. All right, Bill, Eduardo, I agree with you. We shouldn't overlook Tampa Bay by any means. Correct, yes. Eduardo, what do you feel like has happened to our offense and running game? Running game has disappeared the last month, and defense appears to have, for half the games, it is play calling. So I will say this. When it comes to the running, I think a lot of it you can credit, discredit, what do you want to say, the Dallas Cowboys, and maybe there's a game or two before that, but they exposed some of the weaknesses in our running game as far as how teams are now trying to stop it, as far as literally not just trying to get into the offensive line, they're trying to jump or split the gaps between the offensive line, between the right guard or left guard and, center, etc. And that's causing some blocking problems for our offensive line. Also means that they are opening up some things in the pass game, but to your point, Eduardo, Ben Johnson and company are going to have to figure some stuff out here. Teams, it's the playoffs. Teams are going to try to shut down the run first and foremost, so that is part of it. But you've got to try to find some counter punches here to get that running game going. All right, Robert G. Looks like you're spot on with your picks, Nance. So far, I mean, I won't discredit myself. Every pick I've made so far for the playoffs, either NFC or AFC, have come to pass. So if I was a betting man, I probably would quit now because, hey, that's a pretty good, impressive run. Maybe I should do this more for a living. Michael, howdy, Dan Lions Fatal. Love your work and dedication, brother. Hey, I enjoy being here with you guys. So when I learned a long time ago in life, when you love what you're doing, it's never work, and I absolutely love doing this with you guys. Eduardo, Bill Weatherspoon, yes, Baker missed like one or two deep throws that game that Evans dropped another wide open touchdown. Could have been different. It could have. And just think about, if memory serves correct, and you guys remind me if I'm not correct with this, the very first drive of the game for Tampa Bay, they've got Mike Evans wide open because somebody blew assignments. But I want to say it was somebody at our line tipped the ball, and then of all people, Will Harris gets the pick. I think Will Harris blew the assignment, was supposed to be with Mike Evans, but because the ball gets tipped, he just kind of gets bailed out, and Detroit gets credited for a touchdown, or excuse me, a turnover. Anthony, good morning, Duke crew. The Bucs it is, and we are truly in line for the best run to the Super Bowl or bust. 100% with that one. And let me go ahead and take the phone number out of there. All right, let me get back here to the comment section. All right, let's see. We got Booth, excuse me. Morning, Duke crew. The guys want a rematch with Dallas. Packers took them out. I wanted to beat Matt Patricia. Bucs took him out. Is there is there as much emotion for the Bucs? I think the emotion will come from this. Every Lions player will be aware. You win this game, you are in the NFC Championship. I'll throw you one other nugget. If the Dan O'Damas ends up being correct and that Green Bay beats the 49ers, then all the Detroit Lions players will also be aware, and the coaching staff, etc. Since that's the early game and we play the late game, you win that game, you're hosting the NFC Championship. So there's, I would think, I can't speak for everybody, but I would think that would be some real motivating factors. Don, the first matchup versus the Bucs, we had no Gibbs, no Jonah Jackson. Oh, I forgot about Jonah Jackson. No Branch, no David Montgomery also got hurt. JMO was only 16 snaps in after his suspension. Well, guess what they are playing. Yeah, they are all playing. So yeah, offensively we should be vastly different. And let's also not forget, if memory serves correct, that was a pretty good game for Goff as well. Anthony, this should be a cakewalk. I hope you're right, man. I know Vegas has got us by, I think I saw, and and I don't know much about this stuff. I know enough that, hey, you're favored by 6, you're favored by 7, whatever. But you're a 6-point spread. I would think in the playoffs, that's a pretty good a margin. All right, Lone Wolf, Lions versus Bucs. Don't sleep on the Bucs. Ford Field, as loud as you possibly can. Yeah, and I think, man, you're going to have to come out and you're going to see the impact of Ford Field on this game, much like last game. And give the Rams some credit. I know Stafford talked about, hey, they have to deal with silent counts a lot because when they play at home, it's just as much a fan base for most other teams. So you have to just get used to it all the time. I suspect that's going to be a little different for the Buccaneers. Brother Ken, Coach Dan, I have to give you props. You called upsets like a Vegas pro. Hey, I've got a future in this thing. All right. Anthony, absolutely done. All right, yeah. Don, it's the playoffs. Win or go home. Nobody is asleep. Trust me. All right. Yeah, don't sleep on anybody. Don, no cakewalks in the playoffs. Man, if we happen to win going away, that would be great just for the nerves and anxiety of everybody. But I'm going to tell you guys, I'm expecting it to be a typical Lions game. Goes down late in the fourth quarter, close game, etc. Bit lady, both of these teams are different in the last 6 weeks, and the 20-6 game means nothing here. Potential TB, Tampa Bay revenge motivation game. It could be 100%. Brother Ken, Baker Mayfield can be dangerous. Plus, he's got a big chip on his shoulder. Do not sleep on him. Agreed. He's mobile. He's mobile enough to be able to get out of the pocket and get yards. He's got a big enough arm to be able to hit the vast majority of throws. Evans and company, they've got some weapons. So yeah, this is not something I would sleep on by any means. JDC defense, 100%. They're going to be tested without question. AJ Buchanan, greetings and salutations to the Duke crew. Mayfield can move around, hit some passes, correct. Evans can hurt us. Going to be a game Sunday. It is. It will be. Papa Noel, good morning, all. Get this game, and we are 1 win away from the Super Bowl. You are correct. Jerome, morning, coach. What's up with Kendall Vildor? He seems lost, and on the defense, communication appears to be slacking. I think a lot of it is, the one play where he got roasted, he was within a half foot of making a pick. I mean, the dude went airborne to get that ball. You know what? The ball just got past him. And because of it, you're in man-to-man coverage on a blitz, no over-the-top help with the safety. It was a house call. But if he's a half foot faster, or what do you want to say, a split second faster, that's a pick. The kid's not great. He's not bad. He can play better man-to-man than Jerry Jacobs or a lot of our other options out there. So take it with a grain of salt, but you're getting what you can out of them. And really, this is the secondary we're going to have the rest of the playoffs. I mean, it's not like they're going to be able to bring in some sort of upgrades. All right, Brother Ken, the Lions defense has to develop a killer instinct when the offense is third and long. Yeah, I agree. They've let too many offenses off the hook. They have. And I think a lot of it just comes down to 2 aspects. One, the blitz doesn't get home fast enough. And B, the secondary just isn't strong enough. Vildor went for the INT, game of inches. He did. Yeah, he went airborne. He was, in his mind, he was there. He had it. All right, Don, Vildor is a pickup of the scrap heap from the Bears. It's not a starting DB, more of a backup, but we have nothing else. Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on. Jess, I think this isn't a bad matchup for our defense. Hope I'm right. I hope you're right, too. Jess, and good morning, all. Okay, good morning to you, too. Hey, Coach Jerome. Hey, Coach, what do you think our key to victory against Tampa Bay, them the same way we did the first time? I think I wouldn't change a whole lot. Establish your ground game. I would be a little less predictable on first down. That's one thing you go back and change some things from the Rams game. I would probably play action more on first down like they did the first couple drives. I thought once you got into the second half, they were pretty stagnant. First down, they ran it a ton. They were not very, pedal to the metal or aggressive, whatever you want to say. that would be, Jerome, my biggest thing I would say to Ben Johnson is you got an opportunity here. You've got a lot of weapons that weren't there the first time, and I can't speak for Tampa Bay. Maybe they're missing some people too. You do have an outstanding defense in Tampa Bay, including Winfield Jr. over the top. I would be real aggressive going after him. Robert, at least we don't have to listen to the media talking about Slay, Swift, and Patricia coming back to Detroit like we had to listen about Stafford. That is correct. Trump. Woo! Yeah, it was nice to see Ric Flair make an appearance on the stage yesterday. Man, he's covering a lot of ground between Lions Talk Live and getting down to Tampa Bay. Don, trust Baker Mayfield loves to play hero ball pressure. He's going to give us at least 2 picks. I think you agree. I would tend to agree with you that he's going to try to hit some shots. I mean, he gets probably at this point, he's playing with house money as far as the Bucs are concerned. He took something like a $3 or $4 million deal to sign with the Bucs, bet on himself. Give him props. He's had a heck of a season for Tampa Bay. So good for him. But let's also be honest. His season needs to end Sunday. All right, Mike, greetings and salutations. Any word on Houston, Laporta, or McNeil? We should get some, I would think, today. Stronger word or confirmation, maybe would be a better way to put it, tomorrow when the injury reports and practice reports come out. So pay attention to those. But I know I said it after the game Sunday. If Houston isn't a go this week, I doubt if he's playing really unless there's an injury the rest of the year for whatever reason, unbeknownst to me, what's going on with him. But yeah, I would think he'd be back out there this week, but you never know. Trump NFC Championship in Detroit. That's what I'm predicting. So hopefully the Dan O'Damas is correct on that. Debbie, greetings and salutations. We are at home. They played late Monday. Every advantage you can ask for. It doesn't mean nothing if we don't play good defense and take care of the ball. You are correct. Yeah, if you let them score left and right, if you give them turnovers, you don't have an advantage. All right, brother Ken, Robert G, you are so right. I did want to see the Lions shred their defense to put up the dagger into Matt Patricia. Yeah, I think there would have been some of that for sure from a lot of Lions fans. I don't think Slay there's any animosity there because he is a Lion, was a Lion, whatever you want to say. It's just Patricia kicked him out of town. Unfortunately, him and Quinn. Let's see, Dean Jackson, Duke Crew. Good morning. Good morning to you too. Trump's did Stafford ding his shoulder? I think he dinged his head, his shoulder, his hand. I mean, he took some shots. He got beaten down a little bit. Say what you want, but I'm gonna stick with my thoughts. That dude was concussed. You know, he played fine the rest of the game. He didn't seem to have any ill effects. But if you're really out there to protect players from injuries and sometimes themselves, I'm not so sure he should have finished the game. Aaron, what do you got? Sunday 3 p.m. The Bucs stops here. We got this, Lions. Woo! I agree with you. And yeah, it's going to be a great day on Sunday. Morning, Lions secondary will need to watch out for the deep balls. It's coming. Yes, they're going to take their shots 1,000%, and they've got some weapons for it. Plus, they got a quarterback who can throw it. So let's hope we're on the right side of that. Trumps, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Woo! You are correct, and let's continue to prove ourselves to be the man. Robert, the boys in blue will be laser focused for Tampa. Agreed. I predict a double-digit win. I like the way you are thinking. John, hope Lions don't take Bucs for granted just because we beat them earlier. Yeah, I'm hoping not. I don't think with MCDC plus the vast majority of the personality traits that we have on this team, I'm really hoping not. They are clicking and could be beat anyone at this point. Yeah, and man, talk about Philadelphia just for a second. How big? I guess I didn't realize how big of a train wreck they've become. I mean, they just, to me, that second half, they didn't even look interested in being there, and it's a playoff game. I mean, man, you're going to see some heads roll with that one. Anthony Stafford fulfilled his promise to lead Detroit to a home playoff win. He did. I know that was one of the things going into the game is, hey, this guy promised years and years ago that he would bring a playoff victory home to Ford Field, and he did. JDC tackle. All right. Phil, doo, Dan. Well, thank you, and good morning to you too, Philly. Matthew, greetings and salutations. Happy Wild Card Victory Tuesday. I like that. We need to pen that. Trump, if we win the NFC Championship, will you do an Arn Anderson, Four Horsemen? Let me see what I can do on that. But yes, the Four Horsemen, that was awesome. I loved them back in the day, man. Jonathan, Lions Bucs, 100%. And you know what? I think it's a good matchup for us. Let's take it. Anthony, John King, we didn't have Gibbs, St. Brown branched in that game. All right, let's. Man, were we missing St. Brown too for that game? Man, I guess I just don't. It has been a while. I remember some of it, but I guess not all of it. Phil, Eagles, question mark. Talk about a fail. Yeah, what a fall apart season they've had. And at one point, weren't they like 10-1 or something like that? I don't know. Maybe it's not quite that, but man, they only have one loss forever. They have the best record in the league, and they just, what a nosedive. Pound the drums. This would be another dogfight. Bucs D, no joke. Yes, I agree that they can do some things, and it's going to be, obviously, I think whoever takes care of the ball better, he got something. All right, Lions do or die. Greetings and salutations. How the little blue do crew. I think the story of us playing the Green Bay Packers at home would be one for the ages. The team that has kept us out of the playoffs for so many years. Go Lions. You know, you're not wrong. And I know I'm old enough to remember the 93 game that, Favre goes opposite sideline, throw to Sterling Sharp at home, Silverdome to knock us out of winning that game. There's a huge history between the two teams. I mean, they played forever, but yeah, it would be epic to make it to your first Super Bowl by beating the Packers. All right, Robert, all roads lead through Detroit. Agreed. Trump, Eagles are dumb. Matt Patricia, fair enough. Anthony, we beat the Bucs 38-21. I like it. Robert, Ford Field only has about 500 tickets left before they sold out for this weekend. Last I clicked, the lowest price I seen was $600 for standing room only. Yeah, and I think it was Dr. Detroit was in here, maybe it was yesterday or something like that, saying that ticket prices he was aware of were already into the 3,000 to 4,000, something like that. But they're probably only going to go up. Phil, Mayfield, Goff, 2 former number 1 draft picks, proving their value. Yeah, and Phil, I think you've got a great point that I get in today's NFL, people give up on, especially quarterbacks, way too fast. A lot of these guys need, a couple years to develop. You look at Goff with the Rams, he had some pretty good seasons. And when he got traded out of there, I want to say he's only played in the NFL like 4 years or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but, right around 4 years. Think about what the Rams did by just saying, hey, you know what, you're not going to get better or whatever. Mayfield, Cleveland kind of did the same thing. And I'm sure there's other guys in the league as well that fit that description, but most players don't really gel that fast, especially from the quarterback spot. And this is also why you get people that, like Flacco, that come in and do stuff because you know what? They've been there. They've seen it all. It doesn't mean they're perfect, but they can have their moments if you protect them. So like Goff with the right personnel and offensive line, they can do some real damage just because there's not much they haven't seen. Let's see, Anthony, I believe Houston plays pass rush. I believe, that would be a good idea too. Michael, greetings and salutations, Coach and Duke Crew. Goff is leading us to the Super Bowl. Stafford never came close. Go Lions. Stafford never even won a playoff game. So Goff has already superseded by far anything Stafford ever achieved. 13-win season, divisional crown, a playoff win, a home playoff game, let alone now a second home playoff game. Phil, do the Lions fans mistreat Stafford's family? The only thing I ever heard was that they booed. Now, could you have taken it that he was the fans were booing at the kids? And I don't know. How would you? I guess my question is, did they say something like, "Hey, we're booing you, Stafford children"? If they did, I would say that's wrong. Come on, man, don't go after whatever like 5-6-year-old kids. But the other part is, I have a hard time believing. 60,000 people said, hey, we're booing your kids. But if they did it, then yeah, then that just should be called out. Eduardo, okay, I love this outfit. Great job. Wait up. She's Dan. I'm assuming you mean the Dan O'Damas. Anthony, I believe it's the Stafford curse, and he just can't do it in Detroit, whether playing for us or against. Yes, there could be some truth to that. Robert, oh my God, you just so awesome. Dan O'Damas, yes, the Boo, the Taylor made, yeah, the Dan O'Damas, yeah, Boo, Swami Dan, yeah, I might have to break that out sometimes. Phil, Jen gonna yell at you for using her towels. There's probably a lot of truth to that. My marker, Dan is drinking the Kool-Aid this morning. Michael, yeah, you're funny. you gotta make it funny sometimes, right? You gotta have a little fun. Lions do or die. Houston, please. Yeah, play Sunday. And Anthony, you're crazy this morning. Hey, hit that like button. Yeah, there you go, Trumps. Hit the like button. Robert, yeah, thumbs up. All right, Magic 8 Ball from JDC says Lions, question mark, Bucs, question mark. Stay tuned to find out. I like the way you're thinking. Keep everybody on the hook. All right, Alan, what do you got? I can't understand why Mike Florio and the rest of them never give us our due respect. It's always how the other team blew the game, never that Detroit just flat out won the game. I think you're 100% right, Alan. And having watched him for a while, I just don't think he's a fan of the Lions. Something in his past has to have happened where all of a sudden he's like, anything Detroit Lions related. And I get the guy's a Minnesota Vikings fan, but if you're going to be a journalist, which I would put a real question mark on Mike Florio, if he's a journalist or just an entertainer. And hey, nothing wrong with it one way or the other, but don't pass yourself off as one thing if you're not. You got to be able to be neutral and be fair and objective. And to your point, I think he's anything other than fair and objective when it comes to the Lions. And I could even extend that and maybe say possibly the rest of the NFC North. Jameer, what do you got? Good morning, Dan. Good morning to you, too. Robert, the defense will take care of the next level. Take it to the next level, correct. Baker will be running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Well, let's hope we don't physically actually cut off Baker Mayfield's head. The NFL will probably fine us for that. All right, Taylor made Baker Mayfield was 19 of 37 for 206 yards in a 20-6 loss. Don't sleep on the Bucs. Yeah, don't sleep on them. Don't overlook it, especially at this point in the year. Do not overlook anything or anyone. Alan, it's always because other teams was missing someone or Detroit held someone and didn't get the call. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, Florio, yeah, I just don't think he's a neutral observer. Derek, hey, Coach Dan, what do you think we have to do to stop the bleeding in the secondary? They give us a lot of yards and big plays. I don't really think there's much we can. And this is me being as frank and honest as we can be. I think if we played just zone coverage like we did the vast majority of the season, you will get picked apart by most NFL quarterbacks. And that means even some average ones. Now, what the Lions have chosen to do in the last, we'll just say 2 months, month and a half or whatever, is they're saying, hey, we know we can't just play normal, traditional NFL football. We've got to be Blitzburg. We've got to make you throw it hot, go to your quick reads, hot reads, whatever you want to say. And you are still going to get yards against us, which I think we all agree in this, the playoffs plus the last month of the regular season, teams are still getting their yards against us. Everybody, is still getting 300 to 400 yards passing. The difference is we are getting some stops because we're allowing our DBs to be specifically isolated on one particular person. They're playing more man-to-man. And if the quarterback's a little bit off with some of those passes, we have an opportunity to get some picks or deflections. So one of the things I talked about last week when everybody was like, man, if whatever the Minnesota Vikings, Mullins can throw for 400 yards against you, Stafford's going to have 600 yards passing. The problem with that is the same thing that Mayfield and everybody else who plays against is going to have. There's kind of a natural cap to how many yards you can actually throw the ball in a given game, assuming you get any stops. This is where I think Aaron Glenn needs some real credit and praise because he's gone away from what he really wants to do. He's doing, we're going to just roll the dice every time and say, hey, can we get a couple turnovers? Can we get a couple deflections and stall your drives out? He does switch the defenses significantly once it gets closer to the red zone just because, the DBs don't have to cover as much ground. Same with the linebackers or whatever. But he's also no longer putting duress on that front four for 75, 80 yards to have to generate all the pressure. So, Derek, I wish I had more wisdom for you this morning than that, but I think basically with what you have in that secondary, you're getting about as much out of it as you can. All right, JDC, Lions football Climate change at its best. You are correct. Anthony, sorry, that was Monty, not St. Brown in the last one. No worries, man. I figured it. Thank you for pointing that out. Terrence, we are set up for a run into to the NFC Championship. We are. And you know what the Dan O'Damas predicted. Jeffrey Views, we was killing the Rams with the run in the right side, and then we moved Donald to that side to help. Yep. And I would say, hey, me, I would have been running opposite of Donald the entire game, but hey, give the Rams some credit too. They did some stuff to shut down the run. Silver Surfer, I had not realized those Eagles were that much in trouble. Yeah, what an implosion by them. Ed, good morning, Coach. I say forget the first matchup. Both of these teams are different and better. Yeah, much different. They've much improved. Climate plus CJ is back. You are correct there. Correct. Gun guy, the Goff Stafford conversation is over. Haha. So who still wants Hooker to start? Haha. Goff will be a Lion for a long time, people. A long time. You're probably right. This offseason, we'll see what they do with the negotiations. But again, let's leave that to the offseason. All right, Dr. Detroit, sleep on nobody. Yeah, if you are taking it easy, if you are throttling back at this point in the year with the chance to get from the Elite Eight to the Final Four, yeah, that would be a major problem. I think, though, again, to reiterate, based on our coaching staff, the personalities of our players, yeah, I would be real surprised if we didn't just come out and play some of the best football of the season. All right, Silver Surfer, going back to Sunday, how clutch was Badgley? How clutch has he been? That was huge. And I think to your point, Silver Surfer, that's exactly why you got rid of Riley Patterson and brought in Michael Badgley. Nothing against Patterson, but as we're all probably definitely aware, he more than likely would not have been able to make that kick. And in a game of inches, that was the difference in the game. Detroit D, we're going to win our first Super Bowl. I like the way you are thinking. Club 80, let's flipping go. I agree. Dr. Detroit, if we win, that would be great. Those ticket prices would be $5K a ticket. Yeah, and man, I think it wasn't you saying yesterday that from you around Detroit, you were saying that ticket prices were already like $3 or $4 grand for this upcoming Sunday. Can you imagine NFC Championship in Detroit, the right to go to the Super Bowl? What those prices are going to jump up to, man. Yeah, one thing at a time, I guess. One funky Goff was fine, but he wasn't great by any means. Dude did not complete one pass under pressure. Stop it. It is what it is. You know what? We got the win. And is there room for improvement? Always, man. Always. Dog Kong, Super Bowl or bust? I'll go with that. All right. We'll go with that, Donkey Kong. I got to keep it somewhat clean because I know some people have, the kids watching and stuff. Or in the background. Silver Surfer, those Bucs are not a joke. Yes, I saw Clancy exploding. Wish we had picked him up, although I got sympathy for Iowa Campbell. There you go. Dash, bring it. Brought. All right, Dr. Detroit, give me the best for the least cost QB. Yeah, I mean, you could say that for Mayfield. They gotten some pretty good value out of him. Dude's going to get paid this offseason. But for Goff, too, yeah, the longer he's in Detroit, that deal's looking better and better for Detroit. All right, Detroit D got to tackle better. Yes, you're going to have to, and way better than the Eagles did. They were just a mess all the way around. All right, Dale, what do you got? Sutton sucked in Pittsburgh, and he sucks here. He's not been trending upwards, is what I'll say lately. D, the Lions defense saved the game. To be honest, the offense has to be better. You're not wrong. I mean, if we don't force field goals out of the Rams, we're not all here talking about the Lions playing this weekend. Detroit D, Ben Johnson has to be more aggressive with shots down the field. He does. And I think the second half, man, he just seems to become so conservative. And we've talked about it most of the season, about the third quarter, et cetera. I just think, man, you've got to open up the playbook. You got to have some faith in the offense to execute, and you've got to go after teams. You've got to get them out of that box. You want to run the ball more and more, you've got to throw them out of the box. JDC, Detroit D, I doth agree. All right, I'll go with that. A gun guy, Goff was great. Bud only missed 5 passes on the night, dropping dimes in tight windows. Haters going to hate. Yeah, there's some truth to that. Gio, my wife and I go to Vegas every October for both of our birthdays. I always put $100 on the Lions win the Super Bowl, which I did at the New York Sportsbook. First time I might flipping win. I don't know enough about it, Gio, but what do you get out of that $100 if they win the Super Bowl? I'd be interested to see what that rate of return is. The Surfer, how is my friend James Houston? They better get Gibbs going this week, and why not J-Mo as well? I have waited enough. I have seen enough rookies, wide receivers tearing it up. I can't answer all that for you. I think Houston, he's got to physically by this point be ready to go. Why he wasn't activated last week, I can only, kind of speculate on. If he's not out there this week, then yeah, dude's not playing this year. All right, one funky Sutton is fine, mid-level and under. He struggles on deep stuff. I would agree with that. The problem is you can't just commit a safety over him because we don't have another quarterback on the other side that is quality. Mosley was him. He was, and you know what? Unfortunately, he only lasted whatever it was, 2 or 3 snaps. Dr. Detroit, gun guy, it's not just about that. It's about money. Some fan can't math well. We get it. Yes, correct. Robert G, in my opinion, the Eagles made Baker look good. There's probably a level of truth to that. The Eagles have been in a tailspin for the last 2 months, probably the worst free fall in the NFL in history. They were 10-1. Yeah, ain't that something, man? I mean, just what happened? I mean, I'm not a Philly fan, so I don't follow them that close. But my goodness, when I watched that game last night, I was just the longer it lasted, I was like, what the heck is going on here? I mean, it wasn't good. All right. Trump's, we could have signed Baker as a backup. We could have. Yep. And I know there were some people in the national media that even wanted him to compete for the starting job. So, I mean, it is what it is. Baker Mayfield, maybe he wouldn't have been the same here in Detroit. Maybe it would have been better. I mean, who knows, man? Michael, NBC is covering the game. Have to put up with Collinsworth again. He is just terrible. You can always just watch the game, turn down the audio, and listen to like Dan Miller or something if you want to. Or, I know Micro Mike, and there's probably like 40 other people that do live casts and talking about it. So you do have some options, but if you're not a fan of Collinsworth, just tune it down. All right, one funky gun guy. You don't know football. Stop talking. Oh, boy. Goff was protect the whole game with a great pocket. The O-line was the reason. Oh, boy. Okay, let's move on here. Tim, it seems to me the Lions only use the same back during each offensive series, and that wasn't as effective as rotating both during a series. Am I imagining something? Is that true? You might be right on that. I'd have to go back and check out the rotations, but they do seem to go with, one particular back for a drive or something, unless situation really, so like goal line, short yardage changes a little bit. Raul, we got, hey, Cleveland, this is what you get when you tell your GM to sell the farm for a, oh boy, for a serial predator. Oh boy. Yeah. I'm going to move on from that one. I'm not going to touch it. JDC, I don't agree. All right. Dr. Detroit, I like Goff for 3 more years under 42. Anything more, I will pass a tag or tag him. Correct. And I do wonder what they're going to do with him, but again, we're not going to know to the off season, so we'll wait and see. John, real G's moving silent like lasagna. Go Lions. All roads go through Detroit. I like it. Nice hashtag there. Trump's, I meant, did Goff ding his shoulder? If he did, I'm not aware of it. I mean, he did fall, take a couple shots and go down, but I don't think he did anything significant to it. Hope I'm right with that. Max, their receivers were wide open when we played them last time. The QB just missed them or didn't see them. Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that, especially later in the game when Mayfield started unleashing some deep shots. He did miss on some of them. Now, some of that, hopefully the Lions have cleaned up some of the miscommunications in the secondary. So we'll see what shakes out on Sunday. All right, one funky. Goff looked scared as stuff on that fumble. He wasn't touched yet when fumbled either. What happened? It was pressure. Could be. All right, Broski. Lions were very fortunate to win that game. This is true. They won by a point. So, yeah, it was close game for both teams. Lions didn't look good on either side of the ball. Banged up Stafford and now a banged up Baker. Lions should beat Tampa. I'm hoping you're right, man. I'm hoping. I'll do my prediction in a couple days. One funky, although I guess by telling you guys I predict them to be in the NFC Championship, I probably already know which way I'm going with it. One funky, Doc, the tag is going to be more than in 2025. Yeah, it'll constantly go up every year. All right, gun guy. Some fans don't like winning. I see great QBs get paid, but Bud, that's how the way it is. What you want him to create pressure for you to be happy. LML, he's a QB against the blitz. Look it up, football god. All right, JD, gun guy for real. All right, one funky. All right. Let's move on. All right, gun guy. Haters gonna hate. All right, brother Ken, Dan. I talked to some friends in Philadelphia. And many fans want Singapore gone, gone. Yeah, that's whatever. Dale, smells like a trap game with the Bucs. Let's hope not, man. I would think with it being the playoffs, all on stake, you're not overlooking anybody. Dale, coach coming from the Philippines, go Lions. Waited 52 years for this. All right. Well, hey, coach, coming from the Philippines. Well, that's a bit of a flight, and I hope you have a great time there, man. Go enjoy it. And, man, I'm hoping they put a smile on your face by the end of the game. Max Greedale, there you go. One funky. Yep, speaking of facts, I hate since 2020. Okay, is hate since 2020. All right, Anthony, we are still able to peek into free agent pool. Yes, we can. Yeah, you'll be able to look at some stuff as far as upcoming free agents for sure. Yeah, you'll start seeing more and more lists come out. Aaron, it's a lock for DC Coach of the Year and Brad Holmes GM of the Year. Go Lions. That's a great point, Aaron, with what they've done in the playoffs, especially when we win this Sunday, make it to the final four teams. Yeah, it'd be really hard to vote against either one of them, I would think. Club 80, that jump from the NCAA to the NFL is huge. It is. And most people don't realize it. Now, it is different at different positions, but something like a quarterback or anything where there's a ton of reads to go on and the nuances change, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Yeah, it's a bit of a jump. Walt, good morning, Dan. We are going to need more plays on offense that don't run into the six-man front Tampa was using last night. And don't forget to hit that like button. Thanks for slipping that in the wire, Walt. But yeah, they're going to have to get this running game going. The other part of it is the playoffs, and every defense out there is going to try to shut down the run. I think we all get it. You're going to face a lot of 5-man or 6-man fronts. I'm anticipating Tampa Bay is going to have a ton of 8-man fronts. So single high safety, 2 out wide on the corners. Now, they're not going to send 8 guys, I would think, on every play, but they're going to make it as difficult for you to know where the people are coming from. Plus, try to make Detroit as one-dimensional as possible on offense. Club 80. Next up, Super Bowl. Let's go. Yeah, let's go, Goff. Yes, I agree. You get this win here, you're in the Final Four. You are 1 win away from the Super Bowl. Club 8. That boos were just fanfare. All right, we'll go with that. Let's see. Gun guy. Fact is, Lions are winning. Some fans don't know how to handle it. There's probably a lot of truth to that, gun guy. You think about the Lions fandom and how mentally and emotionally we've been for eons, man, with all the heartbreaks, all the woulda, coulda, shouldas, all the, the process, the catch, or whatever else you want to come up with. You're probably right. There's probably a lot of emotional wear on fans, players, etc. It's going to take a while for everybody to get used to winning. So, yeah, you've got a point there. East-West Sports Show. Thanks, Peyton Manning, for breaking the curse. I think you might be right. Him and Jeff, whatever his name is, from Dumb and Dumber, the Michigan guy. They did the breaking of the curse or whatever. And really, since they did that, the Lions' fortunes have changed. Joe, the Bucs stops here. That is correct. The Bucs will stop here. Their season come to a close in Ford Field. One funky. Club, there's a few more steps before the Super Bowl, but if the O-line plays like they did and the defense continues to get stops, Goff will be good enough to get us there. And, man, what a story that would be. You kicked him out of L.A., or they kicked him out of L.A. He comes to Detroit, arguably the worst franchise in the league at that time, and it leads the Lions to the Super Bowl. If that goes down, let me tell you, Goff, he probably just got himself a Hall of Fame jersey or jacket, excuse me, I should say. He is going to be remembered as one of the rarest quarterbacks ever and probably biggest enigmas of all time because he can look not great at times. He can play great at times. But the fact that he would have been the guy to bring the Detroit Lions into relevancy, playoff win, and a Super Bowl, yeah, I don't think there's any way you could hate on him at that point because you know what? Name one other person in the history of the NFL who's done it, and there just isn't anybody. He's in rarefied air in my mind just because him and Eric Kramer, they stand alone. They are the only two people that have ever won a playoff game in the Super Bowl era for the Lions. So, yeah, there ain't many people in that club. Gun Guy Goff reminds me of Peyton Manning. There's probably some similarities. All right. I'll go real deal. All right. One funky Gun Guy, then you definitely don't know football. All right. Fair enough. Club 80 Vikings are defiled by, yeah. And I would say Florio is all over them. Max, absolute Lions survive. It's hilarious. Well, you know what? It's who he is, man. And that's why I used to watch him a little bit more. I watch him a whole lot less nowadays. Silver Surfer, Lions better wear the home uniforms. I think somebody is cultivating this silly idea that they do not bring good luck. Have some pride. Dang it. Yes, agreed. Club 80, LOL, there's not a literal bounty on his head. Take it easy. No, probably not. But, hey, if they want to take it to that level, I mean, our chances might improve. Brother Ken Mike Floro is a hack. I would agree. Yeah, he's not the greatest. 3-on-3, Kurt. We was without Monty Gibbs, CJ Garner, Jonah Jackson, Branch, and Houston. When we played Tampa. Yeah, we had a lot of dudes out. And great point on all that. So, yeah, definitely we're going to be it would appear we're going to be at full strength for this game. Derek, Club 80, Derek, they need to put more pressure on the QB. I guess that will help. Yeah, anytime you put pressure on the other team's quarterback, that will help. Gun Guy, only difference is the audible game at the line. Otherwise, they will be very similar. Not the biggest arm, not mobile, but make great reads and decisions. Agreed. Gun Guy, Funky is you just a Goff hater in your okay. Here we go. Boo, no end zone from the end. No end zone from the end zone. Might give up plays into the middle of the field, but we're not allowing TDs inside the 20. Agreed. We keep teams to field goals, especially in the playoffs. You're winning. I'm going to guess most games. My marker coach, I get the marketing advantage for people to label the Lions as, quote, dirty, but are we, question mark? No, I don't think so. And if there any value to being thought so by teams. I mean, I guess maybe if you're a receiver, you're running stuff over the middle, maybe you're a little bit more worried about taking certain hits. But so the Hawkinson hit, and then I don't remember the Rams tight end guy's name who took the hit from Kirby. But those are just low hits. And do you want guys hitting them down there? No, you don't. But, I guess I would say to people who say it's dirty, talk to the NFL then. NFL doesn't want us hitting neck or above. I've got limited opportunities as a whatever Kirby Joseph is a 210-pound safety to take down a 250-pound guy. I've got to pick my spots. If I can't hit you high, I probably got to hit you low because if I hit you in the chest, I'm not putting you on the ground. So that's part of it. Plus, I don't want to sound old and say, be the old guy shaking a fist at a cloud or whatever, but to a certain degree, that's football. He didn't try to hurt anybody. He did his job, which was to try to put him on the ground. I didn't think it was dirty, but I also get if I'm on the other team, I'm probably yelling and screaming. But, when you look at it this way, it's a hold if I'm on one team, a fan base. It's not a hold if I'm on the other. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And I don't think we're dirty at all. All right, one funky. Are you talking about Peyton after his broken neck? Oh, boy. Here we go. Boo, no end zone from the red zone. There you go. That's not a bad one. That should be marketed. T-Chair, what do you got? Florida is a joke. He's completely biased against the Lions. It's unreal. Greetings and salutations, Duke crew. It's due 30. It's getting close here. And I find myself wishing they made a Honolulu Blue drive safe. These roads are slick. Yeah, I know when I was coming back from coaching stuff last night. It was like, I don't remember, like about 5 p.m. I couldn't believe how many roads around here just were sheets of ice. So, yeah, and just so you know, T-Share and everybody else, I have written a few more times to the Pepsi-Cola company about Honolulu Blue Dew, and they have not responded at this time. I'm going to keep pushing for it, though. Ryan, secondary has gotten a valuable playing time over the past few weeks. We will be fine against the Bucs. I hope you're right, man. I do. Silver Surfer, who cares about what Mike Florio says? ? It is better to be underestimated, put down. In fact, I think Dan Campbell is answering and playing too much the reporters game. He is giving them too much. Yeah, I like keeping it simple myself, complimentary to the other team. Don't really address it in any other way. Trump, only 14 likes. Yeah, I can't see ever what it is on this screen. So if you guys are able to hit the like button, if you're able to hit the subscription button, if I could talk today, I'd be very appreciative to it. But yeah, I can't really see on my screen what we're at from a like standpoint. So hopefully you guys are liking the video and the shows. Dash, the NFL didn't like Henry Ford. Look into why they didn't like him. ? Or the exclamation point. One funky Trump leave and come back. I'm over 60 likes. Okay, that's good. Keep hitting the like buttons, guys, if you would. Ibuprofen. I'm talking heads are still dissing Lions and acting like the Lions some sort of fluke. They are in for a rude awakening. Yeah, you go out and win this week. It's kind of hard to deny it at that point, especially if you go out and you get to the Super Bowl. But I will say this, the media, this is why I don't pay a ton of attention to them, is they all have a personal agenda, in my opinion. Or I shouldn't say all, but the vast majority of them have an agenda with whatever they say. There's a reason behind it. And usually it's try to get anger and views and or more clicks and views. All right, Trump had to reload, 63 likes. I'll take it. Gun guy, Denver Broncos, 13-14. Peyton was a dog. He was. All right. Thumbs up, club. Club 80, 22-27. Not so bad at all. All right. One funky, you don't know football. It happens. I'm trying to learn. Help me out, man. Club, LOL Eagles attacking was so bad. It was sus. Yeah. To me, it just, especially in that second half, it just looked like nobody wanted to be there. If they weren't getting paid to be there, if they didn't, have to be out there, they would not have been out there. T-Share, fact is, Tampa Bay has to deal with our offensive line and our fans. Incredible times for Detroit. Goff is the sub god. I think you mean sun god, but typos happens, man. I get me all the time. Have ice in their veins. They do, and they're going to be going after them. Taylor Made looks like Mayfield is getting around $33 million now. Okay, so yeah, maybe add some incentives into it. So the Bucs are already paying him to deliver in the postseason. Good for him, man. He's deserved it. Phil, what do you got? Funky or talking to Dan in the chat or the chat? Phil, the gun guy. Okay. Gun guy, best offense in NFL history. I'll go with that. Phil, thumbs up. Club 80. Early Vegas odds are usually great. 80 to 1-ish. Ooh. Or excuse me, 50 to 1-ish. Man, I can't talk today. Gun guy. He just doesn't like Goff, and I love it. All right. Trump, news 257. Whether it be today. Okay. Woo! All right. We'll go with that. One funky gun guy. I don't hate Goff. Just don't. Okay. Well, I can't read that on the air. Club 80. They say that San Fran broke them Eagles. Maybe there's some truth to that when they played them. Yeah, maybe there's something happened in that game and just, man, the coaching staff, the team just couldn't recover. And they thought that Joseph bad hits caused both Hawk and Higbee ACL injuries. I think I've kind of already gone on about it, but you've got limited places to hit people, and your job is to put them on the ground. I do believe if you ask most players, they'd rather get hit, shoulders, neck, head versus in their legs just because of the injuries. But I get also the NFL is trying to get rid of any kind of as much concussion or head injuries as possible from the game. Good boy Ringo, the buck stops here. I like it. Gun guy, he's winning, so be happy. Yes, don't worry, be happy. Taylor Made, Seth Joyner said the Eagles quit on the coaching staff when they got rid of the DC. There could be a whole lot of truth to that. I mean, you displace the locker room, you can cause a lot of problems. Rafi, Cam Sutton needs to go, and we all know why. Okay, nothing's gonna happen this year. Maybe in the postseason or off season, I should say. One thing the problem is with Slappies is you point out the shortcomings and question their God and they get butthurt. Oh boy, here we go. That guy can't. Okay, JDC can't wait for the day that the Packers and the fans learn how to lose again. Go Lions. I'll say this for the Packers. If Jordan Love's end up being the guy he's trending towards being, kudos to them, man. It means you're probably getting 30 years of near Hall of Fame level quarterback play in the same franchise, and that's just insane. A 3-on-3. Now Sutton got to go. Damn, y'all support anybody that's a fan is for right. Yeah, you got to support the guys we got out here, man. Because let me tell you, you're not getting anybody better at this point. So support the guys out there. They've got me here. Let's see if they can take us all the way. Gun guy. Oh boy. Okay. Trigger man. We did have St. Brown. Craig Reynolds had that huge block. He did. Yeah, for St. Brown getting into the end zone. You are correct. Yes, I remember that now. Phil, I saw Goff rotate his shoulder a couple times. I'm sure he took some shots on it. Is it enough to affect him? That's what we're going to have to wait and see till tomorrow's probably injury report. Rick, good morning, my friends. That's a good team you guys have in Detroit. Did Detroit Lions, wow. You know what? Hey, the Detroit Lions keep looking better and better and better. Rafi, yeah, trash. Cam Sutton missing all types of tackles. He's slow, and every team's best receiver gets the better of him at that time. It is what it is. I mean, there's ain't going to be anybody better coming in this postseason. One funny, that's what I call a Stafford hater when I pointed out his shortcomings too. Just can't call out anyone in the making the people cry. Some people will take offense for sure. Rick, last year, I said the Detroit Lions are going to make the division and go to the playoffs. Look what they are now. Very interesting what I said. You did a great job calling that one. Tim, the over-under is 48.5. I'm thinking a close under. What do you think? I do, especially since Ben is so conservative after half. Yeah, and it's really, why is he trending that way? That I can't answer for you, but it'd be a great conversation to have with Ben Johnson. As far as the points, I guess I would take the under on him for this game. Phil, no drama in the chat. Ask questions. Correct. Let's keep it friendly here. A couple more here. Going to be axed tomorrow, if not right after the postseason ends. There could be some truth there. Sirianni, that is. Rick, what do you got? No, the Detroit Lions could defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got the Lions beating the Bucs. Yeah, me too. I've got the Lions making it into the NFC Championship game against the Green Bay Packers. All right, Chronicles of the LD. I like the matchup against the Bucs. The only concern for me is the Bucs defense and how much they blitz. Could give Goff an offense problems. It could, or could lead to some big plays. It's really going to come down to what they scheme up and prepare for this week to get ready for that. Gun guy can't get much better than top 5 QB, but would be nice. Yes, extremely shaft. If they win, they can't lose. Now that is some sage wisdom. I'm going to steal that one. one funky gun guy. Oh boy. Trump genius pass to run. Yeah, I think you're probably right. They may have to pass this up to run. Mile marker, I thought voting for MV coach already has been done. I believe it has, but you know what? Things can and sometimes do get revisited. Gun guy, Phil just can't say anything good about Goff. People get upset. Yeah, Phil, yeah, you just can't say anything about Goff and people get upset. Correct. Mile marker, good morning. Good morning to you too. Rick, I am in San Francisco 49ers fan. I thought 49ers fan, it's going to be a good game for us against Green Bay, but let's take 1 week at a time. Agreed. Yeah, don't overlook anybody. Gun guy, he lost, Goff didn't. Correct. Tim, I've been racking my brains for a couple of weeks. What is the MC and MCDC, please? Motor City, Tim. Motor City. Yes. Robin, yeah, Motor City. Rick, live in Chicago, not too far away from you guys, 5-hour drive. All right. Yeah, not far away at all. Phil, Jeff Daniels. There you go. JDC, Motor City, do crew. Hey, there you go. The one funky, but he has top 5 in every stat. Teams win because of the team. That includes an O-line playing amazing. The defense makes stops in the red zone. Correct. Rick, 5-hour drive from Detroit, from Chicago to Detroit. I've been there a couple times to Detroit when you played teams a long time ago. Correct. Lions, Dion, yeah, what do you got? The Lions PTSD. I think there's a lot of that going on. Tim, Robin's Nest, thank you. My marker, Goff is ours. Let's keep him. He actually cares about the Lions and city and great fan base. There's a lot of truth to that. All right, guys, it's been an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and call it adieu. If there's some sort of breaking news later today, of course, I'll try to hop on and get it to you guys as quick as possible. I do have a number of coaching things happening today, though, so my time will be a little bit displaced here and there. Hope you all enjoyed the video. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're about 50 or so subs away from 5,700. So if you can do your part to make that happen, I surely would be thankful. Hit that thumbs up button. Go give somebody a hug. Cheer on the Lions. Get ready for Sunday night. And have a great day. We'll see you on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.